Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about episode 24 of the anime series Sakurada Reset. For all intents and purposes, the series finale. And if I'm completely honest, I kind of felt like this final episode was a little bit lackluster as compared to the last handful of episodes, really, which got really exciting, really compelling, pitting Kei against Arachi and everything like that. And I mean, they kind of hit their peak, especially with the last two episodes. So this final episode was kind of closing everything back together again, especially with that sort of triumvirate dynamic between Kei, Haruki, and Soma Samir. And I don't know, it didn't do a hell of a lot for me. It didn't feel like it was absolutely necessarily. You know, I like that Kei, he's kind of the grand mediator once again. It kind of brings him back to that form and function because he's kind of leveling the playing field between Haruki and Sumire and everything. And I think the most poignant aspect of the episode was actually that communal, sort of sharing of memories between Kei and Haruki with the cat who could bridge their abilities, bridge his memory retention ability within Haruki's mind and share everything that she's been sort of oblivious of with each and every successive reset. Now she's been able to have all of that, sort of groundswell of memories come back into her mind, which is kind of interesting because it's a parallel directly tied to what happened to Sumire at the end of the previous episode. And I was all kinds of speculating, oh, she could be dying, she might have been killed. And there was like none of that. Instead, she retreats into the dream world and she wants to be like Jiru and like that amounted to nothing. And so they just kind of made amends, and there's going to be a playful adversarial dynamic between Sumire and Haruki from now on. Kei still wants to be able to call upon her for help, and if she can't successfully have attained him, she can at least live happy, satisfied, whatever like that she managed to bring about his utmost happiness and aligning him with Haruki, and really that's all there is to say by the end. We get some fleeting sort of glimpses as the end credits roll to follow up with some of the characters. See, they're all sort of living happily ever after-ish, I guess, and it's just, okay, cool, great. We probably could have had most of that stuff condensed into sort of a similar montage attached to the previous episode. We didn't necessarily need all of this, arguably so. At least I didn't feel that there was much gravitas that I was finding for me personally with the characterization. I didn't feel like it was utmost necessarily. But maybe that's just me. I'd love to hear from you guys, as always, what your impressions on it were, if you found this finale episode compelling or not, if you thought the previous two, as I say, were much more palpable and engrossing and exciting. If you found this as a finale especially. I mean, overall, I think if you marathoned it, it would probably be satisfying, but I mean, coming off the peak of excitement that were the previous two episodes, it just kind of felt more downtime. Of course, I did feel for Haruki when she shed tears, having all those memories that she had, been oblivious to coming back into her mind, especially seeing it from Kei's perspective, trying to understand the way he envisioned her and that solidifying the love, the romance between them and everything like that. I felt for Sumire when she broke down crying, when Kei could finally give her allowance to accepting her own name. He sort of named her, but he told her something she suspected maybe deep down inside all along. That's who she was. That's who she always was. No matter the iteration he had encountered, she was always the same. And it kind of made it that much more bittersweet that, she could never be any more than arm's length away from him, be kept at arm's length away. never attain him for herself. And it's just, the facts of life. C'est la vie. But, I mean, overall, the series overall was phenomenal. I loved it. I know a lot of people in the early going were like, WTF, what is going on with this show? The resets, is there a point to it? Anyone who stuck along with it all the way through to the end knows that there was a lot going on in this series. And everything, every form and function, every compunction, every reset, every ability served a purpose. And then it came back again, maybe a second and a third and a fourth time, to serve a purpose again in the grander scheme. And it was very much kind of what I had said in the early going. Like, I had these grand speculative fantasies about Kay bringing together all of these different people with all of these different abilities, even bending certain ones that were against him toward his cause, and creating kind of like a Justice League of Sakurada in a sense. And that's exactly what happened. And in the end, I think the most poignant aspect of the finale, the sort of cap on the bottle montage, is seeing Arachi there with his parents. His mother in a hospital bed, I guess, presumably, and the father, sitting beside her, and he looking down upon them, both smiling. Kay managed to achieve something for everyone, in a sense. And with the exception of maybe Nono, she wasn't necessarily happy that, a little kitty cat would have to be sacrificed. But Haruki did point out, this is Kay we're talking about. If he can find a means to save that cat's life and not make that the permanent solution, he will do everything in his utmost abilities, his capabilities to do so. And I agree with that. I've seen nothing to suggest otherwise. I think he is, that's how righteous he is. He is a hero. He may be selfish in some of what he wants to accomplish, but he's no less righteous for it, because he's trying to, make everything surrounding everyone he knows, whether an enemy or a friend, he's trying to make everything surrounding them benevolent and satisfactory. And it's kind of like, what more could you really ask, especially of a friend, And so overall, the series overall was phenomenal. I am so glad I stuck with it. I'm so glad it intrigued me and invested me that early on in the early going. Even though it did mystify me at times, the twists and turns, it was a very satisfying series. And even if I didn't find this final episode of it to be utmost pitched satisfying, I can't, sort of forget everything that came before it. Much like Kay, I have to remember everything that built up to these final moments. And it was all thoroughly worth it. The journey was worth it. It came to a satisfying conclusion. Last episode, they put the cap on the bottle with this one, and it's awesome. It's all good. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below, as I say, what you thought of the series, Sakurada Reset overall. I know there is a live-action movie, I believe. I don't know if it's somewhere I can find it available, but I would be very much curious to check it out and maybe do a comparison, as I did with the anime series and the live-action film of the anime Orange quite a while ago. And I guess beyond that, again, I'm just happy I was able to experience this series, and I'm happy that, some of you guys have been right there with me along this whole journey, the whole course of this journey, going back and forth in the comments, having great conversations, speculating and wondering and questioning things and reacting to things. That's what this is all about. This is what I love, having these conversations. And so yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on this one. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.